Javier. Hey, congratulations on your new film, Do Justice.
Thank you so much. You get a chance to look at it?
I did. I watched the
Okay,
whole
good.
thing twice.
Oh, twice. Wow. Thank you. It was
Well,
you.
well, you worked hard on the film project. That's the least I could do in
Thank you.
return,
So I
right?
really appreciate it.
So Javier, tell us where the original idea came from for Do Justice for yourself.
Um, when I heard of the Sandy Hook massacres in Connecticut, I had just taken my kids to school. I have kids about that age, and it really got to me. And I started to think about what I would do. Would I be one of those parents that go, "Oh, I can forgive the man or whatever." And I realized that I wasn't a nice person. I realized I probably would completely lose my shit and do something completely insane. I couldn't imagine the pain of what these people were going through. So, since I can't do any of that because I'm a pussy, I decided to write it down. And I created Santiago, kind of expressing how I felt about life and everything sucks in a way. And when you see Santiago's kids, those are pretty much conversations I had in my car with my kids. It's just like verbatim, um, with sense of humor, but there is a darkness in his life for feeling frustrated. And then what if you would do something crazy? And then that's where Max, Callan's character, came from. Of what if somebody would try, but you're not Superman or Batman, you don't have special skills or weapons. What do you do if he's a regular Joe? Well, maybe he knew how to do knives because his dad was, he knew how to forge metals and all that stuff. But I was always thinking about the baseball bat. That's probably all I can do. I don't even know how to use a gun. Um, and as I was developing that, I thought, oh man, this is dark. I need to bring something more. How do I make this a little more palatable? And then that's when I thought, oh, maybe if the bad guy is not just bad, but he's also a guy who's a victim of his own environment. And he's got a boss who's got a micromanage. So even if it's crime, it still is a corporate ladder. You get it demoted or promoted or killed or whatever. Um, so hopefully that will make things a little more even on the tone. Um, and then so this is what came out.
Well, let me address because this film because the delightful part about this film is the characters themselves because not every character has their own motivation, has they're all different. And one of the things I have to admire was Jeff Fahey's villainous character because I was like, gosh, this man, the business that they're in is brutal, is vicious. It's just pure evil because there's one thing about trafficking, but there's another thing about organ trafficking.
Yeah.
I mean, tell us about developing, pure evil in the sense because in this case, you call it Do Justice, and literally I have to cheer for Kellen on this one.
Yeah. Well, obviously you're a bad guy, and okay, what would the guy want from this guy? And the last thing I wanted to do is drugs. It's just like, what are they doing? Drugs or nuclear weapons. So okay, what's really horrifying, and as I wrote a movie called Ruthless, which is with Dermot Mulroney, and it's coming out in December, I think, directed by Art Camacho. But anyway, in that movie, I wrote a story about people that get kidnapped and then sold, sometimes in places like Las Vegas, to people that buy them, and I don't know what happened to these people. So I started looking into what other things out there as a legitimate crime business, and I noticed like, oh my God, there's a black market for organs. So, but I'm thinking, well, it's dark, but what will really hurt me? And to me, if you hurt a kid, kids are just like the worst. So the most evil thing I could do is get a baby and take the liver out. I mean, that's just bad. But at the same time, I didn't want to dig in it. what they do and how they do it. It's just the fact that they did it. Um, I was more interested in how Jeff had to deal with losing something at work and having to face a boss. And then the boss, I didn't want it to be this horrible, scary guy. And I said, this guy is going to be very scary. And then I put him in front of this very gentle, sweet woman that has a beautiful smile, and I'm wondering, this is going to work. And the chemistry is going to work in the screen, or it's going to look stupid that, wait, well, will he be scared of this person? Um, so that's that. I got lost.
It's all right because one of the things I did want to mention is the bad guy. It's not just Jeff himself, but his entire gang. Because you could easily made this movie where it's just the villain and there's a bunch of, bodyguards or bad guys that we don't care about. But somehow,
Henchmen dressed in black.
yeah, but somehow you created a personality for
Yeah.
each person in that gang, and I'm sitting there going, gosh, Jeff needs a new gang.
Yes, exactly. You kind of, there's a point where you kind of hope for Jeff to help him a little bit because he's just like, ah. So I wanted to feel his disappointment. So that was my way to bring humor into the movie. So it wasn't just dark because sometimes they're so dark, they're good, but it's hard to watch again. So I figured if I can tickle you a couple of times, at least it's not just a flat one dimensional person.
Mhm.
Even Jeff. Now, if you notice, there's something in common. They all had kids. And in the case of Jeff, he lost a kid. And when he's, pretty much talking to Kellen about a deal, even though he's lying and he's a scam, I think he's sincere a lot of things he say. I think he really meant, I didn't mean to go to your house. It's what happened. But, I had nothing against you. It's just, things on the job.
Yes, I catch a lot of humor in this film and a lot of action too. But let's take the the dark side of things because it's almost in a way that you have Kellen playing in the role almost like a vigilante, like almost
Yes.
like Batman in his own
Mm-hmm.
way. Why is Kellen perfect for this role?
Well, first of all, because he liked it. He liked the script, so I'm always happy if an actor does that. Um, and also, obviously, Karen has a really good presence. He looks like a. It's hard to make it look like an evil guy. He's just a sweet guy. He's got a big smile. But I wanted the character to take a dark turn where he like, oh, this guy could turn, and he's so charming. I go, well, if he can then turn around and have that face like a fuck. Um, and he's based on realism, so discussing the character, he will question me certain motivations. Well, he just really, you think he will do this? I mean, because things just happen, and I'm like, okay. He goes, and I just had a baby. Okay, all right, well, yeah, okay. So that collaboration is just really cool because it just makes the character better, and when he does it, it makes my job easier.
So do you love doing these type of action thrillers? I mean, with the explosions, with the fight scenes, heck, you even have like Kellen playing with different type of weapons, not just gunplay, not just a baseball bat, but also throwing knives at the same time. He did
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I I'm more of a emotional type of film guy. Um, but you know, I'm working at an independent level where there's a specific genre that needs to be made because that's what sells everywhere. So I wanted to write something that had a little action and had a little edge and had little guns and all that stuff that people like to watch. But I didn't want to sell myself so short that I didn't give them any meat, and that's why I wanted each character to have a little personality because I feel like you don't remember the movies, you remember the characters. When you think of Raging Bull, you think of Jack LaMotta, you don't think about anything else, him or any character. So I just wanted to give you, even if it's a little character like Junior, you know, You know who that is? He's a kid smoking the weed, and he's just there. He's the golfer. Uh, but even him, I wanted to give him something to do. But he's just not there standing out, killed somebody, and that's it. Just give a little three dimension to all of them.
Yeah, I mean that is true because Kellen's character changes throughout the entire film.
Oh yeah.
But I also want to say Efren's character, even though he plays the cop, he also changes throughout the entire film too.
Yes, the complete opposite. Because he goes from carrying the world on his shoulders to saying, huh, well, I don't have to do it. There is somebody who's willing to do it. And, okay, well, maybe I give him a couple of addresses, he will Dexter these people. So, when he realizes family is what's important and he doesn't have to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, he just turns into a happier person because now he can focus on what's important for him, obviously.
So for you directing, because I know this is what your second feature film, if you could correct me if
Yes,
I'm wrong.
yes, yeah.
What,
I was an old bloomer.
was it challenging for you to do an action film like this?
Only the action parts. Like I say, I get a lot like scenes where Kellen is talking with a friend in the interrogation room and about the family and crying and all that. I really breathe those scenes. That intense. The action movie, I feel like the action parts, I feel like I depend on way too many people, too many things to go wrong. But when you have these private moments with the actors, when they do the drama, or the coffee shop with Mr. Tank and Ellis, those are the ones I savor the most because the action is right there in their eyes. So the action scenes outside those make me a little nervous because I don't know what I'm doing. So you're trying to. I don't try to go into cool shots. I'm trying to see how can I make you feel something, even as there's supposed to be action going on.
But
So I wouldn't be the guy who wants to choreograph a cool karate fight like I did in Ruthless. It's like you need a specific director who knows what they're doing and with some background in stunts. So I tend to be more on the passive side.
so I'm guessing it helps that Kellen has action background for himself, as well.
Well, yeah, I watch him when they told me how about Kellen. I look up Hercules in HBO, and oh boy, I look at him. He can do anything. Um, so I didn't want to put as much emphasis about the action into the movie about how the fight is, and more on the consequences and the talking and the pressures and the things on your head.
So, so for you, Javier, what's next for you? You want because it sounds like you love more of the dramatic and character development type of films, that type of genre.
Yes. So what I decided to do, I have a couple of murder dramas. One is called little on my MDB. One is Building 50, which is a insane asylum in the 60s where there is a murder. Just very serious. It's very dark and drama. I have The Room Above, which is I based this story in a book by Emile Zola, and it's a 19 it's a two-story thing going in between the 70s and the 20s. But again, it's dark. It's drama. It feels very Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. Slow pace drama. That's the kind of thing I feel like I can breathe a lot. But I also know I got to pay the rent, so I'm trying to think how do I make movies that people want to pay. So I wrote two movies that I'm pretty excited about it. And one, Kellen liked it, and we hope we can do it. It's called American Revision, and it's basically a bit of a Death Wish meets Back to the Future.
Mm.
So they get to try to attempt to disrupt the timeline of tragic events in the United States, traveling to time. So it's tons of action, but also great characters because I get to bring some people that have existed in real stories and kind of bring them to the story.
Well, that's what you do best, Javier. I mean, it is entertaining. The Do Justice is not only dramatic, action driven and comedy elements. You know, a lot of people should check it out. So, hey, congratulations and thank you for carrying this conversation with us about Due Justice.
Thank you. Is it a specific scene that you like?
You know what? There, I did actually, I thought where he actually blocked his car and the guy was honking. I was like going, "What are you doing?" But
Oh, yeah, okay.
I truly did. I did enjoy all the goons that because they're all different, and
Mhm.
you didn't make them you know, like faceless villains. And
Yes.
and I almost felt like you could easily make like a like a short story movie on each
Just with
one.
those people. Yeah, because they're real people. I want it to feel like everybody's there, you know? Because whoever is there in real life in a situation like that, it's got something to do at home, you know? It's got a mom, it's got a dad, somebody yelling at you. So
Yeah,
you go home and you still,
yeah.
yeah,
So
well, I'm
yeah,
glad.
I like the character development in this film. So
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that because that's my biggest uh, pet peeve, right? Working on those characters.
well, take it from a compliment from me. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.